Well, good evening and welcome, everyone. My name is Renee Passal, and I'm a reporter and anchor at WDIO, and I'm honored to be your MC tonight, just coming in hot right after the news. So we're first going to recognize the Duluth Denfeld Maroon 16 Choir for their beautiful music. And now please rise if you are able for the posting of the colors.
Guard, ready, face, ready, post. Ready, pop. Preset arms.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, arms. Right, face. Forward, march.
Thank you. You may now be seated. Well, tonight is a very special night as we recognize and swear in new members of the City Council and, of course, our mayor. But before we do that, the City of Duluth would like to recognize 3 outgoing city councilors, Jay Fosley, Noah Hobbs, and M. Westerland, for their service and their dedication to the city and its residents. And it's so nice to see so many other familiar faces in the crowd. Whether you are a current or former city councilor, school board member, county commissioner, state representative, state senator, or hold another elected seat, thank you for your service and for being with us tonight. And now I would like to ask the Honorable Judge Beiers and Councilors-elect Anderson, Forsman, Kennedy, Medved, and Randorf to join me as they are sworn in.
Please raise your right hands. Will each of you state your name?
Gary Anderson.
And repeat after me. I do solemnly affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
That I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and the Duluth City Charter,
and the Duluth City Charter,
and that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially perform the duties of my office as a member of the Duluth City Council. Congratulations.
Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight.
As I begin, I would like to acknowledge that we are able to be here tonight in part because of treaty rights granted us by the Ojibwa people. With respect to my role as a citizen of Duluth, I try to put into action my commitment to repairing my part of relationships with the Ojibwa people. Tonight, I bring attention to the fact that January is Human Trafficking Awareness Month. I ask you to join me in a brief moment of silence for missing and murdered Indigenous women. Thank you. And thank you to all Indigenous women leaders in our community. Now, with a very limited amount of time in which to speak, I would like to directly address my new colleagues. With her permission, I share a quote from Reverend Charlotte France, a local UCC pastor. Reverend France wrote on New Year's Eve, "Happy New Year. Here's wishing you strength, peace, joy, and resilience as we move into 2020. I do not expect this year to be kind to us, gentle to those we love, or full of wonder and grace. We live in difficult times, but I do expect that together we can make a difference, encourage each other, speak words of hope, and together hold the fabric of life stable." End quote. I share these words because they speak to values which we share in common: courage, compassion, and honesty. We live in difficult times. Here in Duluth, we are struggling to build housing for all who are in need. Seniors on fixed incomes struggle to keep up with seemingly endless increases in property taxes. Employers struggle to fill open positions because prospective employees can't find a suitable apartment or home in our extremely tight housing market. Opioid addiction, the climate crisis, systemic inequity, out-of-control healthcare costs, our deeply divided political climate, and more cause stress that threatens to crush us. All of this points to the fact that membership on the Duluth City Council comes with loads of responsibility and incredible privilege, including the chance to collaborate with council colleagues, hardworking city staff, and Duluth citizens to get things done. As a council, we will debate and challenge each other, sometimes even argue. If we are to serve effectively as a council, we will all need to rely on each other. We will also rely on those closest to us, our spouses, family, close friends, and our constituents to keep us grounded and humble enough. My commitment to you, my colleagues, is that I will keep showing up when the creative tension threatens to stop progress. I will continue to bring a desire to learn and curiosity to my work. I am deeply grateful to Councilors Fosley, Westerland, and Hobbs, and all of my council colleagues who over the past 4 years kept me on my toes, thinking about big ideas and dealing with the mundane operations of city government. One of the things my experience on the council has taught me is that being an effective city councilor is challenging work. And if we do our work with courage, compassion, and honesty, it can be the most satisfying work we've ever done. As Reverend France said, I do expect that together we can make a difference, encourage each other, speak words of hope, and together hold the fabric of life stable. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Anderson. Nobody can be able to project the microphone at quite the level you can, so I'm going to lower that. I once heard that a good barometer for how long a politician's speech will last is how far back in history they go. Well, after a recent trip to a museum with my daughter, in which we spent most of our time looking at dinosaur fossils, I've got some observations from the Jurassic era that I'd like to share. I actually want to start my very brief comments by saying what an honor and a privilege it is to be here with all of you. And first, congratulations to all my new council colleagues on a well-earned victory. I look forward to working with all of you, and I hope that you savor this moment. I also want to congratulate Mayor Larson on your re-election. Mayor, your leadership and service has led to many wonderful successes for our city, and I fully believe that you have placed us on rock-solid footing moving forward. You've also continued to serve as an inspiration to the next generation of Duluthians. That includes my 4-year-old daughter, who, after recently quizzing me about what happened to all of my lawn signs, pointed out very matter-of-factly and without prompt that only girls can be mayor here. And how wonderful, for so many reasons, that is her reality and our future. And I see she's filming me right now. Now, I, like all of my colleagues, did not get here to this podium alone. I'm blessed to be surrounded by loyal friends, family, and mentors who have inspired, motivated, and supported me along the path of public service. They keep me honest, tell me when I've made mistakes, and push me to expand my thinking and grow along this journey. I'm grateful for them, especially for my wife, Jessica, and my kids, my parents, and my campaign team of rock stars, Annie Harla, Carl Shetler, Joan Peterson, Grant Hoschild, Margie Nelson, Milo Amundsen, Candy Geary, Azam Ali, and Roger Reinert. As Isaac Newton once said, if I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants. And it was so much fun being part of our team with you. Special thank you also to my brothers and sisters in labor for all of your support. And I have to give a birthday greeting to fellow Councilor Renee Van Nett, who is here tonight. Last April, taking a break from campaigning, my wife Jessica and I did what many would consider to be rather insane. We hopped in a car with our 3-year-old and 11-month-old and drove 2,020 miles round trip to Buffalo, New York. We did it because it was the only viable way that we could watch our beloved Bulldog men's hockey team play for another national championship. You notice a lot when you drive across the country, even with screaming toddlers in tow. The power of Niagara Falls, the cosmopolitan night skyline of Cleveland, the beauty of Chicago's towering skyscrapers and parks. But nothing, truly nothing, compared to that familiarly stunning sight of the twinkling Duluth hillside when we came back into town. We have a special place here, and as city councilors, I believe we have a great responsibility and opportunity to help our people and our city realize our potential. Surely we must take on the big issues fearlessly, but more often we make progress by listening and helping solve small problems for people quietly. We are not up here for us, we are up here for all of you. And I thank Duluthians for the faith that you have put in me. I'm humbled, and I pledge to continue to serve you these next 4 years to the best of my abilities with an open mind, collaborative spirit, and positive approach. Thank you. I welcome Councilor Kennedy.
Okay, Derek, I'm nervous now. He asked me if I was nervous, and I said, I don't know. It feels like sometimes maybe that's my normal. But I know running for office, it takes a lot of work. So here I go. I'm blessed to be here today. So hello, Duluth. I'm Janet Kennedy, and it's an honor to be here today as a representative for the people of West Duluth in District 5. I also am very proud to be the first African heritage woman to serve on the Duluth City Council. As a lifelong Duluthian, our family moved here in the 60s for the air base. My father served in Korea, my uncle served in Vietnam, my brother was a sailor in the Navy, and my grandson is currently active duty Army National Guard. And he's here today. I'm glad he's here. My family serves our country, our church, our community, and I look forward to serving Duluth District 5. As an African American growing up in a predominantly Euro-American community, I faced a lot of challenges. From a young age, I was told life is not fair, and I was treated differently. I credit my resiliency to watching my mom work hard to get her education and to make ends meet despite all odds. I value my elders and mentors who support and challenge me to grow to become the change we want to see in our communities. Kennedy Campaign Committee, thank you for believing in me, and thank you for believing we could. Leadership is in all of us, and stepping up to meet the challenges means dwelling in possibilities. Dreaming big beyond life's circumstances and working hard is what brought me here today. After the election, I took time to reflect and discern on the importance of this historic legacy. December 26th, I began to observe the 7 days of Kwanzaa, and each day stands for something unique. Umoja, unity. Focus on ways to strive for and maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race. Kujichagulia, self-determination. Ways to define self, name ourselves, create ourselves, and speak for ourselves. Ujima, collective work and responsibility. Building and maintaining community. Other people's problems are our problems, and we solve them together. Ujima, cooperative in economics, sustaining our economy as a community. Nia, purpose, building and developing our community in order to restore people's lives. Kuumba, creativity, always do as much as we can in order to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than we inherited it. And lastly, Imani, faith, believe with all our heart in our people, parents, teachers, and leaders, and the righteousness and victory of our struggles. So I completed my observation of Kwanzaa, and I truly believe a community can only survive and prosper as a whole when we're all walking on even ground. Lastly, as a counselor, I will be an authentic leader. I will value and honor this unique experience. I will advocate for transparency and fairness in all policies. Policies impact everyone differently, and the more diverse our governance board, the better decisions we will make. I will continue to build on the unique assets in Western Duluth, including economic and community goal development, vibrant neighborhoods, and quality of life for everyone. Thank you all for joining us for this historic inauguration. Thank you to my family who gives me love and unconditional support. Thank you to the voters and supporters for making a difference for today and for generations to come. Thank you.
Well, let's move that up a little bit. Well, good evening, everybody. What an amazing thing to be here tonight. You all look nice. I dressed up tonight, which is a big shock for my family and friends. A lot that know me know I don't dress up. And so, I actually have a Senex t-shirt on underneath this. But overall, 6 years ago, I gave a speech at high school graduation. Never give a dream a deadline. A dream structured with patience, determination, and hope is a dream worth waiting for. So it's kind of funny to look forward and be here present currently and say, this is part of the dream. Not understanding really what might come out of this dream, but it's part helping the community, moving the community forward. And so I can't wait to see what this dream entails and how we can shape and form it and grow it together. Thank you to my family and friends, the community, everybody so much for believing in me at such a young age, for supporting me through the thick and thin, growing from one gas station in the western part of town to four to 40 employees, and moving forward. We're not done here, I can guarantee that. So tonight I couldn't think of what I wanted to say. I wanted to make it iconic and really represent how I represent myself as a person, and it will represent the community. For days I thought about what I would speak about tonight. I thought, what better way to start my term than with a speech about the ones who served before me. I have before me an opportunity like no other, rich with history, passion, and love for this place I call home. If you look down Superior Street, visit our craft district, or take a drive along the river corridor, you cannot miss the character, of the structures left behind by the ones before us. I am blessed to be from a small community in the western part of town, Gary, New Duluth, home to some amazing men and women who have shaped our community not because they had to, but because they wanted to. The Delzato family, Balich, Palucci, Spihar, and Stojvich families are only a couple of the names that proudly fought for a better community for their kids, neighbors, and future residents. I might be 24 years old. My accountant always jokes she has underpants older than me. But I have before me this amazing opportunity to follow in the footsteps of the ones who served before me. I work hard daily with hopes that one day I could be half the persons that they were. I was blessed to be raised by one amazing lady who loved unconditionally, worked her butt off, and never took no for an answer. I hope to follow in her footsteps and make her proud. She left this world too soon, but it will be my mission to carry on the things she taught me. Work hard, be kind, and love unconditionally. The footsteps of the ones before us say volumes about our past, but now it is about the hills and valleys ahead of unforged terrain that we will together blaze, carrying on the torch for this beautiful place we call home. I don't expect anyone to remember the words I spoke now or over the next 4 years, but what I hope is the actions and accomplishments of this council and administration will live on for years after we are gone, because actions will forever speak louder than words. My voice is your voice, my vote is your vote, and I can promise you that no political influence inside or outside of City Hall will ever change that. In the wise words of Dennis Anderson, good night, everybody, and be kind.
Good evening, everyone. I am humbled and honored to be here tonight with you. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to start by thanking District 3, my neighbors, my voters. Everyone who allowed me to stand here tonight, I report to you. I want to also thank my amazing campaign team led by former two-term Councilor Charlotte Gardner. She's here tonight with me. Her passion for the work, her depth of knowledge, just doing the job well. Thank you. It was amazing. I would also like to acknowledge outgoing Councilor M. Westerland for her service these past 4 years. This is hard work, and she did it with grace. Thank you, Em. I am unbelievably grateful for my team, my campaign team. They dedicated countless hours to this process. Thank you for choosing to serve, lending your experience and your talent. Our team quickly coalesced. We coalesced around our values, and those are people first. It's honor the environment. It's speak from the heart. And I quickly understood how important it was to really listen to the neighbors in the district, all of the people. It's so diverse. These will continue to be my guiding principles. And I want to also congratulate our Mayor Emily Larson on her second term. I look forward to working in partnership with you, your administration, my fellow councilors, to continue to implement our impactful policies that will benefit everyone and every community in this city. Our residents have placed their trust in us, their hopes. They want us to do this work, and they want us to do it well, with integrity and with courage. They elect us because they want us to work together. They want us to challenge the status quo, adopt smart policies, do more of the stuff that works, and fix and revector on the stuff that's broken. Thank you, residents, for believing in us, for your engagement, your community leadership, and your ideas. Please keep them coming. And as we move ahead, I'm committed to giving voice to the ideas and the experiences of residents who, you know what, they sometimes don't feel like they have a voice in City Hall. I want to be an effective advocate for business because they're the driver of our jobs. We need our good jobs. Together, we'll increase the council's transparency and tackle tough issues, and we're going to do it thoughtfully. Over the next 4 years, we have the opportunity to address many issues, including housing for all, public safety, environmental stewardship through sustainable growth, and do it in partnership with our mayor. As we seek to move our city forward, it's imperative we work together recognizing that we're not always going to agree, but that's okay. Our unique differences, our experiences will help us to work together creatively. And remember, we do this work because we're passionate about this city. And we're passionate to help our citizens prosper. And finally, I want to just say, we're always going to find people in our world that'll tell us, you can't do something. That's not going to work. And yet you're going to find that blessed few that are going to say, yes, you can do it. And I had mine. And a lot of them are in this room today. They said, Roz, you can do it. Because, you either fear the fire or you become the fire. So thank you to everyone who put the fire in my belly and helped me become the fire. A few of them are here today, my mom and dad right in the front row. Thank you for all of your support. So here's my challenge. I'm throwing down a challenge. Everyone today, go out and tell somebody, yes, you can do it. Thank you.
Well, great job, everyone. Good practice for all those council meetings you have coming up, I'm sure. Please welcome to the stage Gary Boelhower, Duluth Poet Laureate, to share a poem.
Inauguration. This is the way we make a place of belonging, a place to call home, a city with a heart. We begin again. With each wild dawning of the light, we rise and make our common promises for the common good and do the work that needs to be done. In offices and factories, schools and hospitals, in trucks and planes and cranes, as clerks and cooks and carpenters, whatever our work, whatever our title, all of us citizens with dreams and needs who wrap our fragile babies with our warmest hopes, who whisper our prayers at the bedside of those we have lost. We know how it begins, and we know how it always ends. This is the way we make a place of belonging, a place to call home, a city with a heart. We remind ourselves again that we share one story, one home, one life. We are the hungry, the homeless, the voiceless. We know what we need: food and work, to be well, to be held, to be heard. This is the way we make a home, a city with a heart. We listen to the true stories of the past, how greed and pride have divided us, how some were shackled into slavery and beaten for believing their dignity, how some were driven from their lands and punished for speaking their language. And now the deep scars need healing and repair. And now the water is rising. The land is losing its life. The fires are raging. This is no time for small plans. This is no time for doing what we've always done. This is how we create a place of belonging, a place to call home, a city with a heart. We count each one as precious flesh. Each one. We sing the song that comes up from the land, the song that echoes in the waters, in the currents of the waves, and we take one brave step forward toward the feast of our common family.
That was beautiful and amazing, Gary. Thank you. And now it's time to ask Honorable Judge Beiers and Mayor Larson to come up for the swearing in for Mayor Larson.
Okay, oh, I have this here. I want to do this. Okay. We're over here. Yeah. They're a lot taller. They've grown in 4 years. Yes.
All right, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Emily Larson,
I, Emily Larson,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and the Duluth City Charter,
and the Duluth City Charter,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
honestly, and impartially perform the duties of my office as mayor.
perform the duties of my office as mayor.
Congratulations.
Wow, they have grown in the last 4 years, for sure. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. It is really such a pleasure. Miigwech, thank you. Before I begin my comments, I do want to share just a few thank yous. Thank you to Councilors Fosley, Hobbs, and Westerland. Truly, truly, Duluth is a better and stronger place because of their work and their leadership and their vision and their commitment and that of their families and loved ones. Thank you, and congratulations to our new councilors, newly elected or inaugurated councilors, Councilors Anderson, Forsman, Kennedy, Medved, Randorf. I'm so eager to work with you. I think we are going to have a really great time. I think we're going to do really hard work together, and I think we're going to make this community something amazing. And Councilor Kennedy, I do... the last election was historic in one nature and this one in another. And in between, we had a historic election of Councilor Van Nett. And the progress we are seeing in this community is tremendous. It's a responsibility. It is a gift. And I am so, so excited for you in this community. So thank you so much. Thank you to our Poet Laureate, Gary Boelhower. Ever since I took office, we have integrated the Poet Laureate program because to me, words are everything. And thank you so much for the gift of your poem tonight. Very meaningful. I want to thank my work family, Bronwyn Bauer, Phil Jentz, Alicia Kozlowski, Kate Van Dale. These events are very hard to put together, and you are instrumental every day in not just doing events like this, but in helping to challenge me to be a better mayor. And the kind of mayor that the city deserves, so thank you. I want to thank my leadership team, who is also here. We are fundamentally asking different questions as a city, core questions that we ask ourselves when we make decisions, and we have really changed our engagement strategies. That has required a lot of work from you, and I appreciate you, and I'm so deeply grateful. And I do want to thank my right-hand friend, work person, Noah Schuckman, our new CAO, started with us about a year ago, and you have brought new ideas. You brought this brand of quirky humor and a calm focus and energy to the work, and I love going to work every day. I want to thank our 850 amazing city employees that I have the privilege of serving with every single day, and I really especially want to lift up the snowplow drivers and our emergency response personnel who worked around the clock in some of the most trying and dangerous conditions we have had in the past few months, so thank you for that. I am able to do this work. All of us here are able to do this work because of the people in our lives who make it possible for us. And tonight I have my parents here, Narita and Lee and Pam, my sister Jessica, my niece Ellen. Thank you for who you are. Thank you to my husband Doug and our sons Eli and Gabe. You have grown quite a bit in the last 4 years, many ways. You are amazing. You are my favorite advisors, and truly you are my everything. And I really understand that this job has required a lot from all of you, and I thank you for your many, many silent sacrifices that you make in support of this beautiful community. I thank you for the life we have built and how you love me. And finally, most importantly, I do want to thank the people of Duluth who have given me another 4 years, us another 4 years to serve. I am so humbled by this vote of confidence and will work every single day to honor the trust and faith you have placed in me. Thank you. I start tonight by acknowledging the traditional Native inhabitants and custodians of this land, both past and present, on which we meet today, the Anishinaabe peoples and other tribal nations, prominently including the Fond du Lac Band of Lake Superior, Chippewa. And I pay my respects to our ancestors before us and our elders who are with us today. So it does feel different giving a second inauguration speech. I feel just as excited and hopeful as I did 4 years ago, a bit more tried and tested, but also fully focused and motivated. And I recall being advised about this work before I took office, how grand plans and dramatic new directions can literally go down the drain, or in our case, get lost in potholes, of the daily emergencies of the work. And there's no shortage of things that constantly rear up in this job that require attention or create friction or cause problems in life and at work. But don't get me wrong, because I'm not talking about disagreements. Keep those coming, because one of the things that makes Duluth Duluth, one of the things that makes me so proud of our community is that our community here in Duluth, we give full volume to what is not working, what you want to see change, where we can be better. And I hope that we never, ever lose that full-throated, full-on involvement in building a stronger community. But as I've been preparing for another 4 years as mayor, I've been thinking a lot about focus, the kind of city and the kind of community that we are building. And I find myself coming back over and over again to a favorite quote I have from Catholic priest, professor, and theologian Henry Nouwen. He was visiting with an older professor one day who remarked, "My whole life, I have been complaining that my work was constantly interrupted until I discovered that my interruptions were my work." For Nouwen, these interruptions were not just distractions, but opportunities to see the world and our relationships anew, and that was, in fact, the work. As mayor, I have found this quote to be fundamentally true and somewhat comforting. On one hand, you work for months to realize a very specific vision, and you want to see that thing happen now. But then there's an interruption, an emergency. Something unexpected happens, and suddenly we are now focused on this new thing, and that original plan gets lost. There's a danger in managing from one crisis to another, of course. It can be a full-time job, working on this emergency or swatting down a different disaster, dealing with challenging personalities, or trying to avoid some other kind of catastrophe from happening. And yet, there is also the danger of getting so stuck with stubborn rigidity, becoming so focused on trying to secure a singular achievement that we fail to deal with the business and people at hand. Focus and persistence are good, of course, but tunnel vision can also get the best of us. What I love about Nouwen's quote is his reminder that we can sometimes focus so much on that image of accomplishment as our work that we forget to look up and embrace the interruptions as what they are capable of being, opportunities to see our community, our neighbors, and ourselves differently, to show up and pay attention, to allow ourselves to feel vulnerable, to lead ourselves out of dark moments of uncertainty and surprise, led by the light of our beautiful values. There are, of course, interruptions that are emergencies and demand our full attention. A Husky refinery explosion means that we drop everything. We kick into emergency response mode on one hand, and we text our loved ones with the other. A series of shootings or a school lockdown means protecting the community, helping survivors, and telling people that you care. Now annual 100-year storms that devastate our city mean we must jump into immediate action. We have to clean up, we brush ourselves off, and then we rebuild better. So those are real interruptions, real emergencies. And then there are the interruptions that are just noise, just distraction. Social media trolling, bullying, soundbite positioning, this is just noise. Complaining without explaining, noise. Partisan bickering, political posturing is noise, noise, noise. And we all know there is going to be an ton of noise in 2020. One of the things that I have learned in the past 4 years is how tempting it is to get caught up in all of that noise, the social media, the political fights, the complaining, how easy it would be to get distracted and lose direction, to move from one flare-up to another, to be interrupted and taken off course. But there is another way, but we just have to choose it. In order for interruptions to become opportunities, to avoid having the noise take over and become the thing, you need to have a clarity of purpose and a confidence about who you are. You need to know what you value. And in order for us as a community to avoid the noise taking over, we need to know who Duluth is and what we value. And then we choose to believe it. So, this is what I know about our values. In Duluth, we care about our neighbors and doing right by them. We shovel each other out, we leave food on footsteps, and we worry when the ambulance comes down the block. We believe in fairness for everyone, and that addressing disparities of health, income, race, and opportunity is our charge as local government. We love this place. The lake, the air, our hills, creeks, and parks, and we love every single quirky neighborhood across the city. We are a winter city. We get blizzards, but we do not leave our poorest neighborhoods behind to be the last plowed out, and when that happens, we fix it, because we are not leaving anyone behind. We are at our best when we are loud in our opinions, yet quiet enough to listen to the opinions of others. Truly, we are a city that is small enough to get things done and big enough to matter. We don't look around waiting for other people to solve our problems. We name our struggles, we acknowledge them, and we do better. In my first term, we faced some big issues head-on with these values. Sex assault kits going untested, our crisis of affordable housing, climate change impacts that are literally eroding our city, chronically and structurally underfunded streets and infrastructure, an opioid crisis that was tearing families apart, a dismantling of youth programming, racism and racial inequities that have for too long been ignored. We did not sit back and wait. We took notice. We acted, and we have been relentless because we knew what we were capable of. Duluth, we are a city with drive and focus and purpose. We are not waiting for permission, and we know who we are. We will unapologetically lead. Local is where we still have considerable control and the opportunity for the full display of our values and to act on them proactively. So, locally, we will lead. Over my next term, we will continue to have Duluth out front as a state and national leader, showing what it means and what it looks like to build an equitable and sustainable city for all neighbors across all neighborhoods. We will lead on finding solutions for affordable housing. We will lead on building innovative career pathways to connect critical jobs with workers who need them. We will lead on building an economy that works for everyone. We will lead on finding new ways to meet the demand for affordable childcare. We will lead on sustainable development, infrastructure, and a clean energy transition. We will lead on including the voices and experiences of those who still feel invisible, because all of our residents deserve to feel seen and heard. We will lead. This spring, I'm going to lay out more specific plans and goals in my State of the City for the next 4 years. But you can expect more of this energy, of this focus, of this bold collective confidence that is right here in this room. Because we know who we are. We know why we are here, and we know where we are going. Together, we are destined to do great things. People in this room, people watching at home, people across the state and this nation are counting on us to get this right. So let's get back to work and show them how it's done. Thank you.